Hello and welcome to Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. Here we are with you on the 10th of September 2021. After another full-on, very busy week. Been working really hard getting a few things all set up, trying to slightly get ahead. As a lot of you know, I'm working on some of the new tutorials that I'll be doing and some of the new bite-sized shows as well. So really, it was this week a case of sort of basically finishing everything off, if you can imagine, right the way through. Anyway, it all started on Saturday. We had the Saturday show, so you can see just down in here. Basically, on the Saturday show, if you haven't seen them before, we actually build. I know most of our shows we yap and talk and have a bit of a giggle, but actually we try and get on with some bits and pieces. So you can see down in here, it was myself at the top there working on the lightning, so just weathering that one up. We got Nathan down there on the right working on a stand as well, and obviously Matt's working on his Ural truck for the grad launcher system. On that one, as you say. So it's one of those shows which is very laid back. It's a Saturday morning job. So we have the chat on, we have YouTube chat on, and everything else, and we're answering your questions as we make our way through on the show. And just generally just trying to, help people out where we can, but also show and demonstrate things how we go about doing things. So as you can see down in here, it's just about to have the wash off of the lightning for a panel line wash just down on that one. And then here she is. Literally looking very much the part. I must admit, next part up, what we're going to do is a little bit of post shading for this one. So that'll be probably next Saturday. We should be on with you. And then what we're going to do is obviously do a little bit of post shading, a little bit of oils, unmask it, and hopefully finish it off. So it won't be too much. But again, this one's been done live on the live shows on the Saturday morning. So there is no proper video build for it as such. But generally, it's one of those ones where you sort of more of a laid back build and everything else. It's not structured like some of the others are. So anyway, that one's coming along very nicely. The other thing as well, on Monday, it was with this guy, which is we have finished it off. It's looking absolutely fantastic. That's over here. As you can see, full video build is obviously available for the members, but there are the photos as well if you want to have a little bit of a look through. In this particular one, it's all about pigments. So we talk about obviously layering up pigments, putting them down, getting them into there, really wearing it around. You can see it sort of grip into the various areas and using different colours of pigments. And then it was on about obviously painting and weathering up the gun as well, ready to be sort of mounted to the back of it as well. So again, oil washes down in there, dry brushing, metal effects, things like that, generally to give it that nice worn-in look. And there's the truck. Looking very worn, all ready for the next part, which to be honest I think is going to be the last part on the next one, because obviously we bring it all together using Posca pens. A lot of people ask about what do I use these pens for. Classic example, rubbers. So window rubbers around canopies and obviously on vehicles, things like that. It's a great way. You just draw them in. These pens are actually acrylic, so they're basically like acrylic paint, but in a very fine, that's a 0.7 nib on that one. Pen system, so it goes in there, and there's the bonnet all sort of weathered up. You can see how sort of blotchy that looks with just weathering bits and pieces on there just like that. So anyway, that is part 9. That is up with you right now. Part 10, which will be up with you on this Monday coming, is the final part for it. So it'll be the final reveal, all the bits and pieces. And again, it's one of those things, and I've said it every week since we've been working on it, it's actually a really fun build. Out of all the bits of armour I've done, and I've come off the back of some really big heavy projects, things like that, this one was absolutely joy to go together. I know Zvezda has got that before and after date, as I call them. Before, they tended to be a little bit of a handful, a little bit of flash, fit issues, but there's definitely an after date where their kits go together a lot better. When that date is, but definitely it's one of these things. I haven't done any of their armour or their sort of vehicles like this before. Done this one and absolutely loved every minute of it. Was a lot of fun, I must admit. So I'm looking forward to doing more of those in the future. Tuesday, something a little bit different. This was the start of the new bite-sized series and the tutorials and things like that. So in this particular one, we basically talk about my airbrush setup, what I use, why I use it and all the rest of it. We look down in here at my compressor setup and all the bits and pieces. Obviously we look at all the stuff I have on my bench is normally what I use on a daily basis, so to speak. So it's going through all of those literally just like that. And then to be honest with you, we could move on to have a good look at airbrushes, and we talk about the difference between a single action and a double action, and we talk about needle, nozzle sizes, things like that, what you could look out for possibly that are very helpful for modelling, and then other parts which really aren't. And then we go on to basically have a look at the functionality of how an airbrush works. So you can see 7-year-old's artwork, me trying to do this one, explaining how obviously a Mac valve works into an airbrush and all the rest of it. But then we do actually move along and we put it all into practice. So we show you the difference between a nozzle, the nozzle cap as well, and how important it is to keep that clear. And then obviously going through all the motions of it, of how an airbrush actually works. So spray patterns with different nozzle sizes. So 0.6 in there showing it's a bit wider. And then obviously when you move in with sort of like a 0.3 down in here, it's a narrow one fields. So we're talking about distance and pressures and stuff like that. And then we go on to actually put it into practice. So we basically get the airbrush, load it up with some paint, and we look at the differences between how we're going through them, and differences of distance, air pressure, and obviously paint mixes and things like that in a basic form. So really that particular one there gives you an idea of exactly how an airbrush works, and then obviously things to look out for, obviously if you're new to it. What we're going to do now is work our way through every single stage of airbrushing, from mixing up the paint. That's the next one, that'll probably be up with you this Tuesday, and we're going to talk about air pressures. So again, it will be just a 10-minute video about mixing paints, what to look out for, when it goes wrong, how to fix it. As you said before, it's what all these are going to be themed on. Then we're talking about air pressures and how air pressures is affected obviously by distance, so forth and so on. Then we'll be putting down one about obviously coverage, which is basically just getting it down to a nice smooth finish. That's what we're going to be talking about in that video. Then we're going to do obviously various things, working our way through painting models and various things like that. Then we're going to be talking about problems you can have, i.e. when you've got no paint, when you've got no air, when it's spitting, when it's backfiring, when it's bubbling out the colour cup. We're all going to do these little videos, and then what will happen is they will come onto a series like this down below. So again, it will be on the main site. This will be on the main site by you see this now. But basically in this first one, which is this one up here, we're talking about basically basic setups of airbrushes. We talk in depth then about some of the other videos I've done about obviously the bench vents, spray booth. Why should you get one? Why would you fork out 300 quid for that? And then obviously we talk about compressors, different types of compressors, and obviously compressor maintenance is down in there. And a video I get asked all the time about is spray booths and mask filters. So obviously, as a lot of you know, I make my own filters because it's a lot cheaper. I wouldn't recommend it for doing your cartridge ones actually on your masks, but it is important to change them, and obviously that's what those videos are. So that is covered. That will be replicated. It's in the forum, but it will be actually on the main site as well, and anybody can go off and watch those. So there may be a bit of a delay between the membership getting them and obviously Patreon members getting them to obviously making out to the general public, but that's just the way of the world, I'm afraid. So what's going to happen from my point of view is over the next month, I'm going to be solely working on this. So it's not all going to be just about airbrushing. We're going to be talking obviously about modeling. So we're going to go back to basics about obviously spraying. We've already got various ones on there. Sorry, spraying, sanding, and then obviously fillers. And then we'll be talking about glues. And obviously this is all going to be things about why would you use a thin glue? Why would you use a thicker glue? Why would you use a resin glue? When would you use a super glue? When would you use a PVA glue? And all the things like that. So hopefully these little videos will be a really quick way. You can just type in the search, it will come up with it, and it will have a video on that particular question for you. Instead of having to traipse through some of my other ones, which I appreciate, do go on a little bit. So some of them are half an hour, some of them are an hour, some of them are 2 hours. You've got to find that information amongst it. So by breaking it down, it should make it a lot easier to find exactly what you need to know. And that's the whole point of it. So I'll be working on those literally for the next month until really October solidly. And then from October onwards, I'm going to be filling in the gaps as we make our way through with that one. Wednesday was the PM show. So obviously this is the all kits discussed and various things. So we got some of the Armour hobby stuff down in there. We were talking about Hasegawa kits. We got some of those back in stock, although I do believe they're all sold out now. We were talking about the bikes and the various things like that. Also, I got some replacement parts out of Airfix. For everybody who knows, I had a few short shots recently. Great service by them next day. So that was very good of those. And we're talking about obviously all the future releases, the pre-orders, the bits and pieces. So if you're into just your model kits rather than building them, that's definitely the show for you. Last night we were talking about all things Mojo. So we were basically discussing your Mojo. You know, what is your Mojo for building? What is your inspiration for getting up or, going down into your modelling bench or setting it up on your kitchen table or having it a tray on your lap? What keeps you going? And then when you lose it, why do you lose it, and then how to get it back? So it was a good conversation. I know that conversation somewhat carried on as well on the forum, so if you want to get involved with that one, you can do as well. But say each week now we're going to cover a particular subject. Some of them are probably more about us than you, but hopefully it sort of covers and makes things a little bit more interesting than just the usual waffling on that we tend to do. So we got that one up, and then obviously we have down in here, what have we got down in here? Oh, we got the Vulcan, isn't it? So that'll bring you up to today. So we got the Vulcan, which you can see, the part 8. That is up with you right now. Now, part 8 basically covers the entire underside section. So really what we talk about down in here is we've got the primer coat all on, all very smooth and looking good and things like that. And then we talk about painting white. So obviously white can be a lot of problems for a lot of people, but hopefully I show a good, easy 3-step rule of getting white coats to go down and be solid. And then we're going to go around and we sort of mottle it up a little bit, just sort of changing the colours to make it look a little bit uneven, just to add to the first stage of weathering, if you like. So that's those going underneath, and here we go, putting a lot more sort of different tones and hues of the white in there, really to sort of break it up a little bit and stop it looking like a brick really at the end of the day. But also you're setting the foundations for all the weathering as it makes its way through on that one. And then obviously don't forgetting to do all your other parts as well, so like undercarriage doors, stuff like that, that is all in the white colour as well. But basically you see it turned out very, very nicely on that one. And to be honest, here she is. She is done. There you go, that's your white side underneath. I know I've got the lights all over this one, hopefully you can see it down in there, but she is all completed and done. Funnily enough, because I do the videos, the way it videos and that, it keeps track of how many hours I'm working on this, and it's 56 hours from start to finish on this one for this particular build. There is going to be obviously about another 3 or 4 parts onto this one, so in the next part we'll be covering doing the grey coat and then obviously putting the camo pattern on, and then obviously so forth and so on after that. So there's probably going to be another 3 parts to 4 parts of this particular one. Remember, it is free to watch, you can go off and see that one at any point, but generally I have to say it's been an absolute pleasure. Big thank you to Airfix. They obviously sent me this one to do, and I have absolutely loved it. It has been worth the 20 years of nagging for them to actually do it, but it went really, really well. And I know a lot of people, there has been some criticism about a few little areas on it and various things. I don't think they're founded, if I'm honest. You know, yes, there's a couple of little gaps on it, but that's what filler's for at the end of the day. And I know some people have said about the technical side of how it goes together. I disagree with that totally. I think it goes together absolutely fantastic. It's so much better to have it this way than it was the old wing sections, the way they plumbed in and everything else. And the panel line in detail, I think for this scale is totally acceptable as well. And of course, if you wanted to, you can add to these. You can go forward. The aftermarket guys are jumping on with them now as well. And I'm sure if you wanted to rivet the entire thing and all the bits and pieces that people have mentioned, then you could go for it. But I think this one is a straightforward out of the box build for me. We've just done everything in the box, the decals, absolutely everything on this one, and I think it's turned out absolutely great. And it will be taking pride of place on my wall. I think the B17 is going to have to move, so because obviously we've got the Bear in 72nd, we've got the B52 in 72nd, and then obviously we're going to put the Vulcan in the middle of them as well. So we've got the sort of the Soviet side and Russian side, we've got the US side, and obviously we'll have the sort of British side in the middle of that one. Where the B17 is going to live though, I don't know, because I've run out of wall space up there. Anyway, over onto the forums this week. Obviously, lots of things have been going on down in there. As always, all your great work and builds, which we'll look at the gallery section at the end of the show. Group builds that are going on at the moment. Obviously, we've got the second one of the year. The last one is the Out of Africa one. That one's going along really nicely. We've got 125 entries into that, and we've got 25 finishers. So let's have a look at the last 2 finishers on this one. Let's just go in here. So we've got the Meng from Steve. This is the Meng pickup truck. Oh look, he's done a technical. Very nice indeed. Never did get around to finishing mine. Nice job on there. Is that a Dusker with that one? Very nice indeed. Crikey, he's going to need sandbags to hold that thing down with it going. Very nice indeed. Good job. Very, very nice. Totally in the spirit of it. And to be honest, very nicely laid out. A lot of people ask us, we had it the other day, about how should you lay it out. Steve's done a perfect job. So you've got your kit details, you've got obviously any aftermarket you've used and all the bits and pieces, so he's listed all of those down in there. His paints that he's used, brilliant job, and then he's got a link then to the build thread as well. That's exactly how we want to see it. So thank you for that one, Steve. That's absolutely fantastic. One more, if we just do 2. We've got, again, fantastically laid out and all the rest of it, but we don't have a build thread. But there we go. So this is the classic, or I suppose it would be a modern day classic now, the MiG-21. So this is the Profi Pack edition from Edard. Very nice with the blurry base. Very nice with the identification marks. Cool. It is a nice kit. Do you know what? I've never built that kit. I've never built an Edard MiG-21. I've done everybody else's, but not theirs. But anyway, good work on that with John. That's absolutely fantastic. So we say loads of entries down in that one. So you can see that one just down in there. If we just go back again. So the current one for the SIG, which is our last one of the year as well. Both of these are going to finish on December the 31st. You've got the Comrade Buller SIG that's going at the moment. We've already got 82 entries into that, which is amazing because it's only been going 10 days. So anyway, we've got down in here, we have got a couple of finishes already. So let's have a quick look in here. So we've got James. James again has laid it out perfectly. It's exactly what we'd like to see in the reveals, because at a glance it tells everybody exactly what you're doing. So this is a Tamiya 48 scale T3485, and then obviously he's got his Mr. Surfacers, his glues, he's got his paints, decals, he's got his weathering bits and pieces, a little bit of info on the actual build itself, and he's got a link, all important link that takes you back to his build thread. So perfect. But there we go. Very nice indeed. Very cool. Classic. And I must admit, again, I've got a hankering for having a go at some of these 48 scale Tamiya kits, because everyone says they're just beautiful dream kits to work with. Very, very nice indeed on that one. Oh, there you go. Gets his mugshot in there. Our very own John. Brilliant. Very, very nice in there. And the other one, we've got a hold on, let's go back in here. So this is from Mark, and this done the I-135. Oh, Mark loses points because he's got no details. If you can go back and edit that in with all your details, it makes things a lot easier. So anyway, very nice in the winter camo with the splodges on the skis. Very nice. Very cool markings. Very, very good kit. Say, it's just all engine, that thing. How the pilot had any visibility or whatsoever, apart from left and right, is beyond me. So good kit, very, very nicely done as well. So that is the that's the thing. We don't even have a know what one. Oh, it's the ICM kit. So there we go. I think that's the 48 scale ICM kit, although I could be wrong. So as you can see, that just down in there. You say great work by everybody. You're all doing a fantastic job. But if you can put the information with the builds, it just makes it a little bit easier for when we're going around, and also for people to do what the whole point of the group builds and SIGs is, to inspire and to give people information about that particular build. So at a click, they can go back to your build thread and just go through and see how you put it together, and then you can then advise on any problems you've had with the kit. Good points, the bad points, how you fixed it would be even better, and obviously colours you used and different materials as well. That really helps out people who are not too sure about perhaps obviously what colours it is. So you can just go back, find somebody's build, say that looks nice, I want to do it in that, and then that way you can get all the information out for them just like that. And that is it. No reviews this week. It's a bit quiet on the old review section. So we said feast or famine. Load of reviews for the last 2 weeks, and then nothing this week. But hopefully we'll get a few more in next week as it makes its way on. Remember, obviously with this thing where I'm having a little bit of time off, you've still got videos coming along. So you've got the last part of the truck up this week, and then this one, what it is, I'll put up a part every Friday, and I'll be chucking in some other bits and pieces as well. And then what I will do is secretly, I will think, and I honestly have not got a single idea of what I'm going to build as my next video build, but I am obviously going to be something for the Comrade Buller, so it's going to be something Soviet, and obviously probably something sci-fi-ish around about Christmas time as well, because I always do something sci-fi for December. So lots of things to choose down, and I've got something very big actually sci-fi as well that I've been sitting on for years, so I might actually take the plunge with doing something like that as well. Anyway, as always, we've got to pop over to our sponsor, the PM Store. Like we were just saying, it is a little bit quiet at the moment. New arrivals wise, as I said, we've got the ICM Cobras in, the Crew. We got some of this Hasegawa stuff as well. So we got this one down there, the Huey, some of it. I know some of it sold out very, very quickly. And again, some of the reviews we've been done of late as well, they are all down in here. So we got things like the Chipmunk and obviously the Fokker triplanes, both versions, 24 scale, as you can see right down there. We have got some more Vulcans back in stock as well. I know people are asking about Vulcans. They're back in stock, but you can see all the other bits and pieces down in here as well. We're expecting the F-18 F Hornets 2 seats to be in soon, and then I would really hope that the Growler is going to be quite close as well, because I'm looking forward to having a go at the Growler. So that's that one. And then obviously on the special section, this is our discounted area. We've got a few, literally just got a handful left of the 48 scale Zukamoris, the Japanese ones. Seriously, I would grab it, because that is one of those kits we've often spoke about that you can't give it away and then you will never see it again, and it'll go for stupid money. So grab those. I did say it would probably sell out. That is the Harrier, is the best one. We're really hoping we can get a few more of these back in. The Draken is a brilliant kit as well, and so is the Corsair. They are the best in scales. So definitely hoping to get a few more of those in very, very soon. As you can see, things are selling out all the time. It's always changing, but you can grab yourself the bits and pieces in there just like that. Don't forget, we've got all the other sundries. We've got loads of stuff coming in at the moment. We've got AK stuff coming out of our ears, lots of other things. So we've got real colour restocks coming in, the glues, the thinners, and all the other stuff. And as you say, all the brands, as you can see down below on there. It's changing all the times, comings and goings as we make our way through. So anyway, that's it from me. Don't forget, you get the next part of obviously the Vulcan doing the white coat. On Monday, you're going to have the final part of the Ural truck. And then next Saturday, hopefully we'll get the Lightning finished off on that one. And then I'll be along all week next week with all the new bite-sized videos and the tutorials and stuff like that. Remember, if you've got any ideas for those, shoot me a message and I'll see what I can do about it. As always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I'm wasted, my heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing and keep your words naked. You